All right, here we go. I'm seeing if I can record this on my tablet, and how good it comes out. I'm not sure. This is the first time I've tried it. I've had this tablet a while. I use my phone more as far as when I go out and record stuff outside. I hadn't really even tried this tablet before as far as recording a video. But I promise you I'll tell you my story or some of it. And that's what I plan on doing. Uh, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I got insomnia. So here we go. I'm not going to, the very first part of my life when I was real young, I was born in Knoxville. I know we moved to Nashville for a couple of years, and that's where Mark was born, my middle brother. And then from there, I remember we went to Crossville, and I remember bits and pieces of Crossville from about 4 to 6 years old. We lived in like a cul-de-sac, or it was like a dead end, one way end, like a big circle of houses. This is like in 1969, 70. So I remember that. I even remember the neighbors that lived next door to us. Their names was Stemo and Jane. I do remember that. I remember my neighbors' names. That's been, like I said, 45 years ago. More than that, 50 years ago. Wow, it just seems like a long time when I say it like that. But anyway, um, about 6 years old, we moved to Knoxville. So when I moved to Knoxville, I moved to Lonsdale. First grade started Lonsdale Elementary. Um, Now you got to remember, I moved from Crossville to Knoxville, and I moved to Lonsdale. I hadn't seen a black person really before, because I don't remember the Nashville part when I was 1 or 2, but I remember Crossville. There was no black people that lived in Crossville at that time. So my first through third grade, I struggled. I fought about it every day, actually. Anyway, from there, I went to Pleasant Ridge Elementary School. I went to Northwest Junior High. The last year it was a junior high. It had ninth grade at. It had ninth grade there. It was first through sixth at Pleasant Ridge Elementary, seventh, eighth, and ninth at Northwest, and then I went 10th, 11th, and 12th at West High. They don't have that anymore. It switched. That was the last year that I went to Northwest. Was the last year they had ninth grade, which would have been in '84, but about 1980 was the last year that Northwest was a junior high. Then it turned into a middle school, and there was no more ninth grade. It just went to eighth, and then from there you went to high school, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. So yeah, it's a little different when it changed the year actually that I went from a junior high to high school. It changed to middle schools, and then high school was 4 years. I only went to high school for 3 years. I went to a junior high my ninth grade year. Anyway, uh, pretty normal childhood. I could say I would say uh, stranger than some, but not no more than anybody else. Um, I didn't grow up a rich life by no means. Um, I remember years we struggled for sure. I remember the paper food stamps. I had the books where you pull the food stamps out. It was actually a stamp, not a card. Um, I remember when I got my first pager. I remember it. Cell phones were huge, bag phones. I remember them. uh, yeah, I remember a lot of things that were different when I was young. I can't remember when I started. Yes, I do. I moved out. Yeah, I moved out of the house after I graduated because I started work young. I started work for Knox County Central Service Center in the 10th grade, which was 1982. So I started paying taxes in '82. I was in 10th grade. I was like 15 years old. And I worked on the weekends, and I worked after school or after football practice. Now they close like at 11 then. I think 11 we would close the service center, and it would have to be opened back up at 5 to gas up the Knox County Cruisers. And I had a chance to go to college, and I turned it down because I had a job, and we struggled. I was young. Family didn't have a whole lot of money, so I figured it was my duty as a man to work. In hindsight, in 2020, I should have took the football scholarship and went to college and got a degree at that time. Schools then are not like they are. The schools then and the teachers then, when I went to school, are not like some of the teachers I'm seeing today and the things that I'm hearing today, where teachers are, instead of teaching math, science, social studies, history, they're teaching their own ideologies. And I don't agree with that. I think you need to teach teachers that will teach kids math, science. How to sign your name in cursive would be good, because, I don't know, when I bought a house, I had to make a signature. I didn't print my name. I don't think it would have been legal. They had a place to print, and they had a place where you put your signature. Kids today don't know how to sign their name. They can print their name, but they can't sign their name in cursive. They don't teach cursive writing no more. And that's a little strange to me. I don't know why that came about. It's kind of strange. I know they taught cursive writing for a long time before that. It's strange. I won't go off into that tangent. I'm not going to talk about that. I told you I'd tell you some of my life story, or most of it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. Some of it I don't remember. There's years that I have lost through my drug abuse that I went through my life. And there's years, I'm talking years, that I have completely forgot. People that know me that I couldn't tell you who they are, where I met them. I couldn't tell you nothing about them from some years that I just stayed annihilated. Guess hiding pain. Just, I don't know why. Things are what they are. What I've been through and what I've done makes me the man I am today, and I'm happy with the person I am today. I struggled to get here. Just not gonna lie. Life ain't easy, and it's not a bowl of cherries. Not every day. A good goal to have is to have more happy days than sad days. If you could achieve that before you die, I think you've done something pretty good. For some people, that don't happen. They have a lot more bad days than good. I'm just looking for more good days than bad. I ain't looking to get rich. I don't idolize money. That's just not what I do. Not into have to wear all the clothes that are in style, and all the preppy stuff. I buy clothes that are very comfortable. I don't buy no $200, $300 shirts, or $400 or $500 pair of pants. Nah, I buy stuff that's comfortable, that looks good, and that I'm comfortable in. I enjoy wearing. So that's where I'm different than a lot of people. Me and my brother went yesterday. Actually, I showed the video. I hope this video will load. I'm not sure. This is really a test. It's already up to about 9 minutes. I'm gonna let it go for about 20 on my story. I'm gonna see if I can download it to Facebook, and then maybe it'll switch over to YouTube first. Then I'm gonna try to switch it to Facebook. I don't know. This is all a test. Okay. Where was that? Oh yeah. Okay. Um, moved out when I was right after I graduated high school. Moved up on campus. So I still worked. I worked for Knox County for 16, right at 16 years, 16 and a half years, something like that. So I built up a little retirement. If you, I remember then, if you put in 6%, they match you dollar for dollar. So of course I put in the 6%. So I had a little money in my retirement. Uh, After 15 years, the county, and they still don't pay good. I had plenty of benefits, good insurance. That's pretty decent retirement when they match you dollar for dollar. Um, I look at it like I was benefit poor. I had an opportunity to switch to change jobs, and the first when I did switch jobs, I went and was subcontracting for United Parcel Service, and my first paycheck, I quadrupled my weekly pay. Quadrupled my weekly pay. My first when I changed when I left Knox County, which was I didn't have a job there. I had a position. It's really not a job, not manual labor, not hard work. It's more of a position, but you get paid for a position. You don't, you don't make big money. It's just that's not what it is. But you don't work hard either. And like I said, you got plenty of benefits. But like I said, I said on my first paycheck, I quadrupled my pay. And I enjoyed what I was doing. I was a millwright. I was becoming a millwright by trade. First job I had doing that was I stayed in Clearwater Beach, Florida, um, which was great. I stayed right across the street from the ocean. I was with maybe 150 yards, and I'd be swimming in the Gulf. That was cool. I liked that. Now I worked a lot, so I didn't have a lot of off time. That's what I was there to do. I was there to work. I understand. Would have a few days off, and I got to enjoy the beach and all the things that come with it. So I did get to do that. I did that. I worked down there. That was my first job doing that type of work. So I was green when I stepped on a job site. Green, didn't know nothing. Had some good people to help me and teach me things. Uh, some older men were there that been in ironwork for a long time and taught me some stuff. Taught me how to tack, and I learned how to weld, and then torch, and um, from there I just kept going. I enjoyed that type of work. My brother had already started doing that. My middle brother had, and he opened up a company doing that called it was DCI, I think that's what it was. But it was my middle brother's company, and he had a contract with UPS, so I worked with him for a while. Worked with another guy down in Chattanooga doing it for a while. I did that. I did that for quite a while, actually. Uh, them two jobs were my main jobs. Now I had some other jobs in between. They didn't last that long. The very last job I had, I was the manager at a rental company over off Broadway. I stayed there about maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and that was the last job I had. Uh, so that kind of takes you through all my jobs. During all this time, I started smoking weed probably when I was about 12, 13 years old. Sucker leaves, heat them up in the oven where they be crispy, roll some sucker leaves up. So I was smoking weed then. Of course, that progressed. Next thing you know, I'm doing pills. Next thing you know, it just keeps progressing. Um, at that time, I looked down on people that used a needle and did needle dope. Thought they were trash, and the people that I condemned, I became. So be careful who you condemn today. Sometimes when you're young, I became the very people that I loathed. Um, I was a needle junkie on morphine for quite a few years. Um, Tried everything to get off of it, literally everything. the NA, the AA, and I'm not going to say anything bad about them because at that time they worked for me. I needed it. It helped me. I had to learn to say no because they want you to volunteer for a lot of things. At one time, I was doing a bunch of meetings a week. I mentioned that in the video. Um, and you can volunteer for too much, and it'll stress you out. So learn to say no if you're in the program. I still talk to actually some friends that I met in the program, still clean. So what it took for me eventually, I got on the methadone clinic, and I've been on the clinic now for so long I forgot, but it has been quite a few years since I stuck a needle in my arm too. I don't do that no more. That's just not. It almost makes me nauseous to think about it. Even when I go to the hospital now and they want to give me a shot or take blood or anything, it makes me nauseous just to think about it. And at one time, I did that every day to myself, so it's kind of strange. Bought a house when I was young. That was my first one. Of course, when I was acting crazy, I was hustling, guess what they call it, doing what you had to do to make ends meet, and hustling. My mother got shot and killed in 1991 by a city police officer in the back of the head. When that happened, I flew off the deep end. Choo! I had strippers living with me from the mouse's ear. I was hustling dope out of both pants legs. I was being an idiot, and what that got me was 6 years in the penitentiary. It took me 11 years to flatten 6 years. Um, it's a trick. It's a trick or a trap or whatever you want to call it. My best bet would have been said, okay, let me just go in there and do my four. I could flatten my 6 years in four here in the state of Tennessee because I was minimum. Uh, I'd be minimum security, so I could have flattened that out in 4 years and been done. But I did it the stupid way, and it took me 11 years to do it. To get the state. The state had their thumb on the back of my neck for 11 years. They took a decade away from my life. But or I took a decade away from my life from my actions. Um, but at that time, like I said, I was buying a house, so I lost that house. Go to the penitentiary, hard to make your payments, house was gone. So I get out of the penitentiary, and I end up doing 4 full calendars in that 11-year period, which I could have done right off the start, had been done, but instead I did it a little bit of the time. The last time I did was 22 months, and that's been, 10 years ago. I flattened it out about 10 years ago. And I started getting high again, like I said, and I couldn't find a way out, or didn't think I could. But I did find a way out. Like I said, for me, the methadone clinic. Um, I can tell you this: if you're strung out on drugs and you want to get off of them, there is a way, but you have to find your own path. Nobody is the same. People are different. Um, some people can go to NA and stay clean the rest of their life. I wasn't one of them people. Um, the methadone clinic works for me, and I'm going to stick with it. Like I said, it's worked for me for 10 years. I haven't stuck a needle in my arm. I'm actually, my house is about paid for. I bought me another house. Um, I was able to buy it's a small house, but it's all I need. It's a little house, but it sits on 2 lots, um, and I got a really good deal on it. So I was able to. I bought it like you buy a car on a 6-year loan, 6-year note. It's about paid off, and I'll own my house. I'll own my own house. My second one. So if you buckle down and do what you have to do, work whatever you have to do, you can achieve what you want to achieve. You can come back and be better than you were the day before. I've said it before, like I said, my grandfather's my hero, and I just want to do better every day, better than I did the day before. Well, I'm struggling right now with faith, my faith, my faith in God, which that's what I was brought up to know and to learn. For my dad worked at McGee Tyson Air Base, and a lot of airmen out there, and a lot of guys in the guards or whatever, and in the military. And I respect all the men and women of the military more than you know. That's the reason we can lay down and sleep at night and feel safe. I'm not going to go into what's going on today because there's just too much. There's just too much. I've already went 20 minutes. This is a test. I hope I can download this. I believe I'll be able to the YouTube, but I don't know about if it'll go to Facebook or not. We'll see. I'm going to get most of my story on here. I've actually brought you up kind of to the date where I am today. I left a lot out, and I did it on purpose. Facebook is, I don't know. A lot of people will take what you say, twist your words around, and, make you look crazy, kind of like the media does today to people. Not saying that I ain't crazy. I think being crazy keeps me from going insane. But anyway, I promised y'all I would give you a life story, a short one, and that's what that was, my short life story. Pour me some 7-Up. I'm trying to not do much caffeine because I have a little bit of insomnia anyway, so I've knocked out all my caffeine. I'm actually trying to knock off carbonated drinks. And then Dad told me I need to check out what's in some of the bottled water, and I said, well, damn, that scares me. Which I like this one particular kind of flavored bottled water. I really like it a lot. I'd like to buy 2 or 3 cases of it if I can. I'm having a hard time finding it. Eventually I will, and I'll stock up on my water, and I'm wanting to do some more walking. I'm in desperate need of knee surgery where there's no surgeries going on right now. With COVID the way it is, they can't do many surgeries like that. It's only like if it's an emergency, like if somebody's having a heart attack, dying, they have to do surgery on that. But anything that's not life-threatening, I don't think they're doing surgeries right now in Knoxville because the COVID's so bad. I'm distraught over whether to get that shot or not get it. I really, 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 really thinking against it. And the big reason is COVID-19 is an influenza. I did a little research, just enough. I know it's an influenza, the flu. It's a real strong flu, and it can kill you, but so can pneumonia. Bad case of pneumonia can take a person out. So I have had 4 flu shots in my life, in my whole life, and not back to back. Like, I had a flu shot, and I was like, I got sick. I'll never do that again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, 4 times. The 4th time I got it, I got sick again. For 2 or 3 days, I'm talking deathly ill. I called back down to where I had got my shot at. I said, that's my 4th shot, not in a row, and over like a 10-year period. And every time, I mean, it's making me real sick, super sick, throwing up sick, sweating sick. I had the flu all 4 times. The lady told me, this nurse told me, I must have had the virus before I got my flu shot. 4 times in a row? You're telling me I had the virus every time prior to these flu shots? All 4 times. That was hard for me to swallow. That was hard for me to process in my head. You're telling me 4 times in a row I had the flu prior to coming and getting my flu shot. No, I ain't going. And I don't want no property in the swamp. I don't property in the swamp. I ain't going for that trick. It just did not sound right. And I know some people are getting sick off of these flu shots. You see it every day. It just don't agree with some people. That goes back. Everybody is not the same. We're just not. I mean, we're all made up basically the same, but we're not the same. Some people's bigger, some people's smaller. It's nobody's the same, man. And they're giving everybody the same shot. Well, it's not going to work on everybody the same. It's going to make some people really, really sick, and it might not make some people sick at all. So, the FDA approved it finally. They didn't. I think they haven't approved that booster shot yet, and I don't think they approved every one of them, like all the company names. I don't think they approved all the companies yet. They probably eventually will. You're talking about big pharma here. You're talking about trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. Per month, probably trillions of dollars monthly. So that's big money. If you got money like that, you can make things happen. Whatever you want to happen, you can make happen. Hell, you can buy a country. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to get into the part of that. But it is part of my story where I'm at now, and where I'm kind of distraught on what to do. One of my real close family members has COVID right now, and he did go to his doctor and get. He thought it was a shot, but it was actually 4 shots, and it was the shots that Trump took when he was in office. It was 4 shots. He got them yesterday, and within 12 hours, he was feeling better. That's great. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear somebody a success story. I'm tired of hearing negative things about it. Like it's 91% effective. I don't want to be that 9% that it's not effective. That seems like it would be for nothing. If you've got a 9% chance of this is not going to do nothing for you, it's not going to help you at all. I would be a lot more apt if it was even 99% effective or 98. No, you got about a 91% chance that it'll work, and there's 9 or 10% chance that this ain't going to do nothing for you. So that concerns me. That's fact. I'm quoting fact here, what I've read from the CDC and even the companies that put out the shots. So I'm kind of torn on that one. Because if definitely overweight, I would have a hard time breathing. At 55 years old, with my health, I'm not unhealthy. I'm not saying that. I can still move around good. I just got a really, really bad knee, so I can't walk far distances without it really just major pain. And I like that movie anyway, Major Pain. I just watched it the other day. But I get major pain in my knee if I walk too far. And if I've got any weight on me, like a backpack that's got any weight in it, I was testing myself the other day, and all I could get was about less than a mile with carrying about 60 pounds, and I paid for it. I dearly paid for it. I got some inspiration the other day from a man down here that walks the bike trail behind West High School, and he's a World War II veteran. So I forget how old he is, but he's quite old. And he uses two sticks like hiking sticks, and I like that idea. And he's made it to 4 miles a day. He's been doing this so long, like I think 4 or 5 years, something like that. I know he's walked 21,000 miles. That's like walking from the East Coast to the West Coast, and doing that twice, from East Coast to West Coast, back to East Coast, back to West Coast, back to the East Coast. He's walked that much in 4 years. That gave me a lot of hope. I'd like to meet that man actually. I'm gonna go down and start real slow. Start trying to with no weight on me, no weight at all. Just a good pair of walking. I've got some really good Merle walking shoes. Actually, I got two pair of Merle and a pair of Kings. The Merles are more low cut, more for walking. My Kings are more for like even winter hiking or something like that. They're pretty aggressive. So I figure I've got some good shoes I can wear. Be good to your feet, especially when you weigh as much as I do. And I'm gonna start off real slow. And I have found a website. Since there's no way I'm going to get in on surgery right now, it's called Toe to Knee or something like that. And this guy shows you how to strengthen all the muscles around your knee. I think it would be a good prep prior to getting a total knee replacement. I have wrote on with Contact Us. I did write to him, and I'm waiting on a reply. There is a monthly charge, but I think it would probably be worth it for me prior to a knee surgery, and I'm going to have one bad because for me, my life, I love being in the woods so much and hiking so much. That's what I miss. That's what I'm missing. I feel like that's one of the major things I missed in my life. That and getting my faith back on track, both of them. I do a lot of my meditating in the woods, and that's where I feel the best and more and the most comfortable by myself, actually, in the woods. There's just something about that can't be replaced. It's like God's around me everywhere. Our Creator or whatever is everywhere around me when I'm in the woods by myself, and I can meditate real well and connect. I feel like I can connect to my higher power. That's just how I do it. So I'm going to try the knee to toe thing for a while, or whatever. It's something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I watched a couple of videos, and it made a lot of sense to me, a whole lot. And you start off real slow, and part of it is losing weight, which is I've got to do that. That's a must. That's really hard on my knee, so I need to drop. But if I could drop 60 pounds, that would be ideal. That was my working weight when the job I had. That would be back down to that. I don't weigh 300 pounds, but I'm getting close. I'm like 290, so yeah, I'm really close to that 300-pound mark, and that's way too big for me. So I'd like to drop about 60 pounds, get down to about 230. If I could get down to 240, I'd be happy. I'd be tickled to death at 240, and maintain that. I know you can't just drop that real fast. It's got to be a gradual. Use your diet with what little exercise I'm going to be able to do, and drop that weight down there and get prepared for a knee surgery in the future. Like I said, that's not going to happen anytime within the next, I don't see, a few months. It just depends on how long this pandemic goes on. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But I am. I've been scared. I should have had this done a long time ago. I had it. I had that knee surgery done, and it was a sports doctor that did it. He said it was good. It lasted a good 15 years, and that was about 35 years ago. So I'm about 20 years late getting my knee replaced here, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Up till just actually within the last week or two. I don't like going to the doctors. I don't surgery. Just I don't know, something about it just makes me nauseous. Almost petrifies me. But it's I've heard too many good things about the knee surgeries. They've come a long way since I had mine. I've got a scar down the front of my leg that's 18 inches long. My toe touched my hip the way it's not supposed to. I hyperextended it all the way out of socket. Snapped my ACL in two. And when the guys picked me up off the basketball court, my leg fell back down and snapped it to its socket. It was very painful. I didn't go to the doctor to the next morning. When I woke up the next morning, my knee had swelled up so big it filled my sweatpants up. They had to cut my sweatpants off with a pair of scissors. So, yeah, I knew I had to have some serious surgery, which I had ACL. Back then, they gave you a Gore-Tex ligament, screwed in 2 screws, and it's lasted this long. But now, and he told me even as I got older, I would have arthritis in it and stuff. So I've got to do the total knee replacement. And men much older than me that's had them done, they said they wish they had done it years ago, that it was a miracle. So I'm ready to do that. I've almost took, I think I've almost done I've almost done a 40-minute video. That's pretty much taken my life story and crammed it into a little ball. I'm curious if this will load to my Facebook page or to my Facebook from my tablet. I'm going to try to do that. I love all y'all, everybody. Hope all your families are doing well and everybody's trying to stay healthy. If I can give you any advice at all, try to get out in nature more if you're not. I think I can't see it hurting anybody. If you could do it by yourself and meditate some, I think that might help you. I don't think it could hurt you. This is just a little advice from me. I've been trying to do it a little more lately, and it's seemed to help me mentally. It's just forcing myself to get out and doing it, because when this first started, this pandemic, a year and a half or so ago, stay in, mask up, blah, blah, I stayed in. And you can create a habit in 21 days. Well, I damn sure got a habit of staying in over that year and a half. That's a lot more than 21 days. Now I've got to break that habit of not staying in, forcing myself to get out and head to the river, the woods, just somewhere. So that's my goal. Do a little more fishing. Me and Todd's definitely going to get the boat out here soon. It's starting to, it's been really, really hot. I think it's supposed to be 93 tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Wednesday. It's supposed to be like 93, so the heat index would get close to 100 probably. And it's humid. We've had a little bit of rain off and on, so it's going to be really humid here in East Tennessee. But still, when it starts to cool off, I'm wanting to get up on one of the islands on Norris Lake, where I live, and I would love for all my Facebook friends who's from Knoxville know of it, but any of my friends who's not from Knoxville, I'd love to show you some of the beautiful parts of Norris Lake and some of the nature we have around there. We got a cool John boat to do that. If we cruise around late in the evening, I could get some really good shots of some deer and tons of deer. But there's no telling what you can see up there. I could get lucky and see anything. A lot of red fox. They're hard. You don't see many of them. Hopefully, I'll see one. Like I said, I'm going to do a 2-night. If you go up there and you take canvas stuff, set it up for one night, ain't worth it to me. I'm going to do a 2-nighter. And I'll do it through the week where there are not a lot of people up there. So in the evening when I get out cruising this John boat, and it's got a really quiet motor on it. It's got like a 25, but it's super quiet. And we control and fish, plus control the banks and check out the wildlife. That's my plan anyway. So hope everybody sticks with me. I took this thing over 40 minutes, and I'm going to see if I can get it. I'm going to see if I can get it downloaded to YouTube and Facebook. Love y'all. Have a good night.